Chief, and yours truly. Of course, we have Ms. Ferguson, who is the Communications Officer with the Guardian Defense Force. Without further ado, I now hand you over to the staff for him to give the brief. Thank you very much and welcome. So maybe we use one speaker. So maybe we use as a speaker on this one issue.
So this will be the one speaking. And yes, sir, you can go ahead. Maybe, so which is the sweet on the camera.
Members of the media, good afternoon. I am Brigadier Godfrey Bess, Chief of Staff and Chairman of the Joint Services. I have with me at this press conference the Commissioner of Police, Mr. Nigel Hoppie, Crime Chief, Senior Superintendent Wendell Blanham, who are both members of the Joint Service Coordinating Council, along with our support staff from the Guyana Police Force, the PRO, Assistant Commissioner Andrews Jr., and Ms. Eppolino Ferguson of the Guyana Defense Force. It is now public knowledge that sometime between 05:30 hours on the 5th of September 2020 and 15:30 hours on Sunday the 6th of September 2020, that Joel and Isaiah Henry were brutally murdered in the backdam of Cotton Tree Village, West Coast, Barbies. These deaths invoked the emotion of residents of several villages along the West Coast Barbies corridor and resulted in protest actions. As news of the murder spread, the protests rapidly escalated into blocking of roadways at Cotton Tree, West Coast Barbies, and soon replicated in several villages stretching from Cotton Tree on one end to Litchfield on the other end. By the evening of Sunday, the 6th of September 2020, police were in receipt of several reports of persons being attacked and in some instances robbed. However, the victims were unable to positively identify the suspects in the prevailing circumstances. This situation continued until Monday, 7th of September 2020, at which time several appeals were made to the protesters to exercise calm and patience while the police pursue with intensity to investigate the murders and bring the perpetrator to justice. These appeals went unheeded until 1900 hours on the evening of September the 7th, causing the police to escalate their efforts to clear the road. The results were then discharge of rubber pellets and tear smokes at aggressive protesters. These actions bore little success as protesters sought to coordinate their efforts at blocking and reblocking of the roads. In consideration of the circumstances, a joint service meeting was convened, where the heads were briefed, following which troops drawn from the Guyana Defense Force and the Guyana Fire Service were deployed to the affected area in support of the Guyana Police Force. At this time, we wish to appraise that our ranks have been working hard to have the roadway cleared, but are exercising extreme restraint in consideration of the circumstances surrounding the death of Joel and Isaiah Henry. Notwithstanding the circumstances, the joint services take seriously all acts against public order, and while acknowledging the rights of individuals to peaceful protests, can no longer exercise tolerance when protest action degenerates into unlawful acts, infringing on the rights of other citizens and putting the protection of life and the safeguards of property at risk. However, we would at this time urge that all citizens exercise calm as we allow the investigations to be done and bring the investigation to a conclusion that will see the perpetrators being brought to justice. That ends my brief to the media. We are open for questions.
Gordon, what's the news source? Are you hearing me?
Yes, Gordon, we are.
I was just watching an incident on Facebook of a live stream of a number of government ministers in the area and members of the military and the police being forced to surround them as the villagers rejected them. Could you indicate, and the Prime Minister was among those government officials, could you indicate whether the joint services would start for any advice, or whether you provided any advice about visits by senior officials to that area, and what is the latest on that?
Yes, Gordon. The joint services advices were sought from the joint services as these government officials decided and requested to go on the ground to meet with the protesters so that they can appease the crowd and let them know of the seriousness in which the government takes this issue. The President would have made a statement yesterday, and it was clear that the joint services, more so the Guyana Police Force, will leave no stone unturned in ensuring that this matter is investigated thoroughly and the perpetrators are brought to justice.
This is Kurt Campbell from the newsroom. Can you be more specific with the reports of damage to vehicle and robberies and attack on commuters? How many reports you received, and could you be more specific with that?
This is when
Just speak up, don't put down.
Yes, to date we have received 3 reports pertaining to robberies. We had this morning a report whereby the victim was relieved of his personal belongings by several individuals who were wearing masks. And what was most alarming was that 2 of the individuals, 2 of the suspects that is, were armed with guns. So that matter will be treated with priority, and we will ensure that we make earnest efforts to arrest those individuals. No, we haven't arrested anyone as yet, but we received some information which we are for reporting.
The trucks
Yes, that matter was also investigated, was also reported, and the matter is on investigation currently.
Can either the police commissioner or the crime chief speak to the 7 persons that have been arrested? Are you looking for more persons? Have anybody provided any key information in relation to the murders?
That is correct. We have 7 persons in police custody assisting us with our investigation. Additionally, the investigators are pursuing 3 other individuals the information that we receive, we're trying our utmost to locate these individuals. However, because of the prevailing circumstances, our efforts have been stymied to some extent. So I want to take this opportunity also to ask persons not to obstruct the investigators. We had some difficulties from the initial investigation when we were making attempts to visit the crime scene. All the major crimes investigators, they were obstructed from going to that area. We had the crime scene ranks on their way back to Georgetown yesterday. They were stopped in Bordeaux overnight, and these are some of the difficulties that we are confronted with in terms of conducting our investigation in an expeditious manner.
If I may, without providing, can you say if you've been if you've gotten any valuable information from the people in custody?
At this point in time, I would not want to disclose that information.
Gordon Mosley here again. Quickly on Nazima's question, I know you said 7 persons are in custody. Yesterday when we heard about the first 3 arrests, we were told one was a son of a businessman, the other was a handyman that worked with a businessman. So there are 4 other persons who were arrested since then. Could you indicate their possible relation, if any, to the businessman and the others who were first arrested?
Well, as you said correctly, we have the coconut estate owner in police custody. Also, the son of the estate owner is in police custody, along with some employees. And 2 coconut vendors are also in police custody, assisting with the investigation.
Mr. Blanham, just for clarification, Samantha Allen here, Star News. Did you say that the police received 3 reports of robberies in answer to Mr. Campbell?
Yes, 3 reports. 3 reports were received by the police.
Vehicles other than the paddy truck being attacked?
We received information pertaining to vehicles being attacked by persons who were pedestrian, but those individuals, they haven't come forward as yet to make an official report to the police.
And what is the situation on the ground like as we speak? Are the roads still blocked? Are persons being disallowed to use the roads as we speak? And if that is so, what next would the joint services be doing? What next can they do?
As we Commissioner of Police here. As we speak, the members of the joint services are engaged in clearing debris from the roads at number 28 Village. While no individual was seen there, the last report that I've had, debris was on the road, and they're currently engaged in cleaning or removing the debris from the road. The joint services will continue to ensure that there is free passage for commuters. That is to say, there's no impeded traffic flow during this, well, as a matter of fact, no impeded traffic flow. And so we are continuing to urge citizens to exercise patience while we conduct a professional investigation, and to say that it would not help our cause if we continue to block the roadways. As indicated by the crime chief, we need to ensure that we are permitted to engage the residents and to revisit the crime scene, which is critical in this investigation.
I'll just ask you to repeat the question, please.
We didn't hear him.
Yeah, just repeat, please. Just repeat, please.
Asking whether the investigators have got any evidence to suggest that the crime was politically motivated.
What's the question? I can't answer that.
You don't have no information.
There's absolutely no evidence whatsoever to support that contention.
So what is the motive?
At this point in time, we would not disclose anything pertaining to motive to the public. We have a very tense situation, and I would want to appeal to members of the public to allow the investigators to conduct the investigation. We promise that we will be doing a thorough investigation, a very comprehensive investigation, and that is currently being done. And as the investigation progresses, we will inform members of the media and also members of the public, like we will do.
Persons from Coventry or other villages?
Some of them are from Coventry, and some of them are from Nigel village.
Do we have any other questions?
Could you say, Commissioner, whether you have already dispatched samples for forensic analysis as part of your investigations?
We have recovered some evidence from the crime scene, and we are in the process of packaging them, and we will be submitting those evidence to the Ghana Forensic Laboratory at various opportunities.
Could you say whether or not you found the murder weapon and could you also say whether or not, based on what you have so far in terms of statements from these persons, whether you have a clear understanding of what happened?
Could you repeat your question, Javon?
Mr. Vickery, we just ask you to repeat your question, please. Mr. Vickery, are you hearing us? Yeah, I'm just asking you to repeat your question, please. Mr. Vickery. Yeah, I'm hearing you.
I would answer the first question. At this stage of the investigation, we haven't recovered the murder weapon. Secondly, as I said before, we are not in a position to disclose any further information than the information we've already disclosed.
will ask for final time. At this time, if you have any other question. Well, ladies and gentlemen, at this time, if you have no further question, I just hand back over to the Chief of Staff and Commissioner of Police to make our closing statement. Thank you very much.
Yeah, Commissioner of Police. Okay, thank you very much for your time, and I wish to restate that the Joint Service will take all legal actions necessary to ensure that law and order remain the order of this beloved country of Guyana. So we call on the people of Guyana to only be engaged in peaceful protest action. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.